It's not so bad if you've been playing for a while, but it's very disappointing to start with the rain coming down.
In fact, I'm really rather surprised then that they're going to start it. It's raining quite heavily.
Love. All.
They're appealing down to the umpire, and of course it affects Billie Jean more, I think, because of the glasses.
Of course, of course.
First service. Oh. 30-15. All. Oh. 40-30. Juice.
And of course, it's the referee's job to stop play, not the umpire. They have to wait for the referee to call them off court.
Advantage, Miss Navratilova.
Just out.
Game, Miss Navratilova. First game.
I'm just wondering how Billie Jean is feeling after that extraordinary match that she played yesterday in the fourth round when she beat yet another young fellow American, Pam Shriver, who was the runner-up in the US Open in 1978. She beat a 5-7, 7-6, 10-8, saved a match point in the second set, and won on her own first match point after being 4-2 down in the final set. 2 hours and 40 minutes out on court too. And she really must be awfully stiff. She's 36 and she's had all this knee trouble, the operations on the knee.
Well, I asked her that, Dan, and she said no, she's not stiff at all. She feels much better having played a long match
Good heavens.
than she did before. So
Mrs. King,
she's certainly looking forward to trying to win this battle with Martina.
Love 15.
Yes, it looks better.
15 all.
Not ideal conditions, though, for fighting for a place in a semi-final of these great championships.
Mm. 15-30.
A quicker reward for an early ball on the forehand for Martina.
All. 40-30. First service. Deuce.
The return of service just wide enough to make Billie Jean stretch, and just down there where she was stretching, the grass a little bit green still, quite green in fact. And still a bit of sap in the grass.
Advantage, Miss Navratilova.
So a break point for the holder of the title. Good service.
Deuce.
One thing volleyers like, perhaps more than baseliners, is a really good foothold, because they have to thrust off so much, so quickly.
Advantage, Miss Navratilova.
So for the second time, break point. Oh, lovely play.
Deuce.
Lovely mixture of anticipation and racket execution there, racket work. Fine volley. Deuce.
Advantage, Mrs. King. Game to Mrs. King, 1 game all, first set.
Well, Billie Jean having rather the harder task of the 2 service games. She had to serve 3 times, deuce. Navratilova won hers after 1 deuce.
Love. 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 Game to Miss Navratilova. 2 games to 1. Miss Navratilova leads first set.
And Martina serving and volleying extremely well at the beginning of this match today. It's very important that she does serve well, because if she doesn't, Billie Jean will be in and trying to take away that net position from Martina. And this is where the match is going to be won from, right up there at that net. And I rather feel that the sort of low bounce that we're getting on the courts today isn't going to help Billie Jean with her knee problems that she's had. She's really got to get right down to all those difficult half volleys and low volleys that Martina is going to be throwing at her. A lot depends on these early games. One, two.
Oh. 15 love. 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 Forty 15. Game to Mrs. King. 2 games all, first set.
Two games all in the first set here, with Miss Navratilova serving. Oh, that's a crisp forehand.
15 love.
Well, in these conditions, a rather poor light, and here and there the bad bounce. We've had a few loose shots, but that was a beautiful forehand from the champion.
All. $30-15. 40-15. Game to Miss Navratilova. Miss Navratilova leads by 3-2, first set.
Well, as Miss Navratilova walks away from the chair, she did so having looked up anxiously at the skies 2 or 3 times. She'd be glad to be able to get this quarter-final through tonight without any interruptions from rain. So Mrs. King serving 2-3, first set.
Fifteen love. All.
This Navratilova's forehand at the moment looks in pretty good trim.
Thirty 15.
Billie Jean took a long time there to make up. She's probably smiling at that, the very thing I'm saying. She took a long time to make up her mind what sort of shot to play there. It was one of those simple balls that you can so easily miss. You can do about 10 things with it, and usually you do nothing.
.30. Deuce.
Suddenly she decided, I think, that the ball was going out, and she decided not to play with it, and now she's angry at herself.
Advantage, Mrs. King.
Wonderfully calm as she played that awkward ball there down the line over the high part of the net. Such an easy ball to rush. Well served.
Game to Mrs. King. Three games all, first set.
A very big hand for Billie Jean King as she won that game to make it 3-all in this first set of the quarterfinal. Yes, that was unlucky. She's looking down at the court where the bounce was rather bad. Really hopped up at her.
First service. .30, love. Love.
And there we saw the tactic that if Miss Navratilova is to hold this championship title, that's the tactic that will do it, the serve volley.
Game to Miss Navratilova. Change the balls, please. 4-3. Miss Navratilova leads first set.
Well, I think, and mentioning that if she's to hold the title, the serve volley is going to be her greatest sort of weapon.
Yes, it's very true, Dan. Wimbledon is grass, and the place to be is at the net. And Martina certainly is able to do that. And we noticed too in the last game with that drop shot that Billie Jean played, Martina was so quick up after it.
So Billie Jean King serving with new balls, 3-4 down, no breaks of service so far, and she opens up her
15
shoulders that
love.
time and produces the first ace of the match.
Love. Love.
Navratilova thinks it should have been called a fault. And that's the finest backhand volley in women's tennis.
Game to Mrs. King. 4 games all, first set.
Four games all, and Miss Navratilova, having served 1-4, a bird flies across and just puts her off on the second serve.
Love 15. First service.
Oh, lovely.
$15 all. First service. $30-15.
Navratilova already knowing that her game is so well known by Mrs. King, whose anticipation was brilliant there.
$40-15. Game to Miss Navratilova. Miss Navratilova leads by 5 games to 4 in the first set.
Well, just for one fleeting moment, Billie Jean King actually had the lead for the first time there. She was love 15 against Navratilova service, and it was 4-all. But then the hold of the title went out very quickly with 4 points in a row. Now, and can Mrs. King hold the serve? That's the question, isn't it?
Yes, I think she can hold her serve, Dan. It's not an easy match for either of these players. They both know each other very, very well. They're good friends and doubles partners indeed in this championships. And Billie Jean, the old warhorse, she particularly knows how to play Martina. It's really a question of whether her legs can get her there to enough balls in all the points. This is a vital game for her. She won't want to see the first set slip away. 4-5.
$15 love. $30 love.
Well, I wonder how many matches have been won by the excellence of that backhand volley. Oh!
40 love.
Well, that's the worst bounce we've had on the centre court so far. Literally running right along the floor. 40 love.
Game to Mrs. King. 5 games all, first set.
I don't know what happened there and caused all that laughter.
I didn't see either, Dan.
Love.
About
15 all.
That might be a very expensive error.
Thirty 15. Forty 15. First service. Game to Miss Navratilova. Miss Navratilova leads by 6 games to 5 in the first set.
Well, that was rather a nice example of the serve volley. Well, let's just have a look at that last point. Here comes this very, very effective left-hand serve. A full follow through. She goes in very quickly and lovely positioning for the volley. Just the bend of the knees there and the racket head under lovely control. So once again, and Mrs. King has to hold her serve to stay in the set.
Love. All.
Mrs. King lost the length on her second service there, and it got the punishment it deserved. We're not likely to have many long rallies in this match with these ladies coming in behind their second services.
40-15.
An awkward bad bounce there. Martina was positioned nicely for it. It just hopped away. It wasn't due to excessive spin put on the ball by Mrs. King.
Game to Mrs. King. The games are 6-all. The tiebreak now comes into operation. Miss Navratilova to serve first.
So Martina serving the tiebreak.
Mrs. King to serve, love 1. One all.
In the tiebreak, of course, the thing they're aiming to do is to break a serve as quickly as possible. Well played.
Miss Navratilova to serve, 1-2.
Now there's the first break
1-3.
by Billie Jean King, and she did it by stepping in an extra yard or so to take the return of serve so early. Yes.
Mrs. King to serve, 4-1.
Now that's a tremendous boost to take the two services away from Martina like that. 4-1. Well, a word from Ann Jones as they change at 5-1.
5-1.
And I think that Martina is a little unhappy with the foothold on this court. She tried to turn to run and she couldn't quite kick off. And it's starting to rain again. It's a desperate stage for this to happen. 5-1.
Miss Navratilova to serve, 2-5.
So that gets one of the breaks back. Two 5. No, it's out.
3-5.
Oh, what a chance.
Mrs. King to serve, 5-4.
Well, she had a chance there, Anne, didn't she? Mrs. King.
She did. She
What's
was
she
right
doing?
in position, and she's going to dry her glasses. She can't see. It's raining hard, Dan.
Yes, it's raining quite unpleasantly now. But Mrs. King has one break of serve in hand. And she's leaving 5-4. Now, if she can hold both of these services, the set is hers.
5-all.
So that equals up the service breaks. Oh, that's a dream of a shot.
Miss Navratilova to serve, 6-5.
Well, it's set point for Martina,
Quiet, please.
6-5.
Change ends, please. 6-all.
And they forgot to change ends, but Billie Jean's taking the towel with her. 5-1 Billie Jean had then, and she was positioned really well. And then Martina pulled out some championship shots to save that.
Mrs. King to serve, 6-7.
And so Martina has set point for the second time. Yes.
Game and first set, Miss Navratilova.
So a really well-played set.
First set to Miss Navratilova by 7 games to 6.
A really well-played set in 37 minutes, and it looks as though they're waiting for a referee's decision here. Umbrellas up and people moving out, and really to play a quarter-final in this is really rather hard for both players. What would you think of
Ladies and
this,
gentlemen,
Anne?
that is the end of the play. I'm sorry.
Yes, we thought that would happen. They played in atrocious light for such a long time. But an intriguing set, no break of service, the tie-break deciding it. 7-6, and to think that Mrs. King had a 5-1 lead in the tie-break and then lost 5 points in a row. So there's the situation in this quarter-final at 4 minutes past 8. 38 minutes to the set. So the ladies, I'm sure, going back to the warmth and the pleasantness of the dressing room. The singles, including, that is, of course, 6 times the singles championship, 10 times the ladies doubles, and 4 times the mixed, all of the mixed, with Owen Davidson, the Australian, who was at one time the coach at the All England Club. Really rather remarkable, I think. And when she came in 1961 for the first time, and she played and won the doubles with Karen Nance.
Yes, it is incredible. Her first Wimbledon to win the doubles, and then the following year she put out Margaret Smith, who was then the #1 seed in the first round. So Billie Jean's always one for causing sensations here.
Well, now here's the gentleman who's going to control the match in the chair. Derek Cordy of Avon. He started the match yesterday and fortunately able to continue it today. Not always the case. Sometimes when a match is postponed overnight, the original umpire has work to do or other things to do, and they have to put another man in. But today we're fortunate in having the original umpire in control of the match. And it is Billie Jean King who will start the second set.
Collect the practice balls, please.
Yes, collect the practice balls, he says to the boys.
Miss Navratilova leads by 1 set to love. Second set, Mrs. King to serve,
What happens is that they knock up with other balls. You see, the balls are changed every 7 and every 9, so there won't be a change of balls until they've played 16. They won't have new balls until they've played 16 games. But the knock-up is played with other balls, other than the ones that they were using when they finished last night. Here we go.
15 love. Love. 40 love. Game to Mrs. King, first game, second set.
Well, that's the way to restart a postponed match, Anne, isn't it? Getting all your first serves in.
Yes, she started where she left off last night, indeed, playing superb tennis. She's moving very well, Dan, too. She doesn't seem to be worried by her knee operations at all. But Martina will be dipping the service returns low if she can, and making Billie Jean bend for the awkward low volleys and half volleys.
Miss Navratilova to serve. Love 15.
That's the first double fault from Miss Navratilova.
First service. First service. Love 30. Love 40.
Plenty of spring in the King legs then as she reached that nasty wide ball. Good backhand volley. Love 43 break points. Yes.
Game to Mrs. King. Mrs. King leads by 2 games to love in the second set.
And Mrs. King has won 8 points in a row in this second set. Yes, that's the first break of service. The first set was won on a tie break. That's the first break of serve.
Love.
Well, that was a remarkable rally. Mrs. King, I thought, had given up the rally at one time, stayed where she was, but in fact it was probably good anticipation.
30 love. $30-15.
Well, the title holder has broken that round of 10 points.
$40-15. Game to Mrs. King. Mrs. King leads by 3 games to love in the second set. First set to Miss Navratilova.
Quite an extraordinary run of points there, Anne. Apart from the 3 games, out of 13 points, Mrs. King only dropped 1.
Well, Billie Jean firmly believes she has a great chance to win this match. She's come out this morning hitting the ball very firmly and very crisply indeed. Of course, these two are friends. They know each other's game very, very well indeed. They practice a lot together, and they're playing doubles together in these championships. So it's very difficult to outfox each other. And Billie Jean, therefore, is going out, hitting her volleys very firmly. And Martina, I feel, is rather sluggish just at the moment. She's slow moving and she's slow hitting the ball. And she's not getting to the net anywhere near as quickly as she was yesterday.
Love 15.
Martina rather guilty of playing the attempted drop volley from rather a long way back from the net.
Love 30. Love 40. $15-40. Game to Mrs. King. Mrs. King leads by 4 games to love in the second set.
What's more, Mrs. King has done that because the serve volley tactic, which is the great strength of the holder of the title, Miss Navratilova, wasn't working.
Love. Love. 30-15.
Just.
(40-15). Game to Mrs. King. Mrs. King leads by 5 games to love in the second set. First set to Ms. Navratilova.
And Martina's really looking very worried indeed now. She can't time the ball at all, and one would expect her youth to be more flexible than this. Martina was equally struggling in the dark last night, but today the sun's shining, everything's faster. The court is faster, the ball is moving through the air more quickly. But Martina is totally at sea, and she's quite unable to pick up the change and settle down here. So they met last year at Brighton, these two, in the semi-final, and Martina won a tough first set 7-5, but there again she lost the second set 6-love, and this match seems to be following a similar pattern. At Brighton, Martina pulled herself together and won the third set 7-5. But here, who knows what's going to happen. She needs to get her serve and volley tactics working now. She's conceding the net position to Billie Jean, and that's very dangerous. Love 5, second set.
Love 15. (15-all). (30-15). (30-all).
This is her great strength, and it's failing her miserably in this second set. It's the serve volley.
(40-30). Game, Ms. Navratilova. Mrs. King leads by 5 games to 1 in the second set.
And in those first 5 games, Miss Navratilova had won only 3 points. At least she's broken the ice in the second set. Mrs. King serving for the second set, 5-1.
15-love. (30-love). 40, love.
So 3 set points for Mrs. King.
Game and second set to Mrs. King by 6 games to 1.
Well, that's an extraordinary set for Mrs. King. She won it in 16 minutes on the from the resumption of play today. The match now has been in progress for 53 minutes. I would never have thought that possible, Anne.
Well, with Billie Jean, it's always possible. As I say, she did it in Brighton. She won the second set 6-love there. And here she's won it at 6-1. She was very angry with herself last night, and I think this has spurred her on. Billie Jean seems to be at her best when she's chastising herself, talking to herself, and urging herself onwards. And of course, she's won that match, as you just said, Dan, in 16 minutes. So it's not going to bring her a question of her stamina into play at all. She's got plenty of energy left for this final set. And Martina must be very, very worried indeed.
Final set, Miss Navratilova to serve.
She's Navratilova in the stand there watching her daughter. And she must be a little bit anxious, I think, now.
Love 15. All. $30-15.
That heavy service catching the chalk, and the chalk tends just to check the ball slightly, cause the mistiming there for Mrs. King.
$40-15. Game to Miss Navratilova, first game, final set.
Well, just a momentary breather here, which I'm sure they need. And that was a rather more severe champion at work there, I think, in that opening game.
Yes, Martina will be very pleased to see that one behind her.
Mrs. King to serve. Love 15.
It's almost the best return of service that has been made today by Miss Navratilova.
Love 30. Love 40.
Mrs. King now in trouble. She's love 40, and she's a game down in this final set. 3 break points.
Miss Navratilova leads by 2 games to love in the final set.
So that's the first time she's broken the service. Oh, that's a marvelous return.
Love 15.
When I say marvelous, it's beautifully timed and unhurried. Yes.
Love 30. $15, 30. Second service.
That was a lucky one. It only just crept over.
$15-40.
And that second double fault from Martina means that Billie Jean has 2 break points here.
Miss Navratilova leads by 2 games to 1 in the final set.
Well, that was a superb service and an even more superb return of service, and it equalizes the breaks of serve now. So 2-1, Miss Navratilova.
What a time to break back, though, Dan. She just lost her serve, and if you know, to face love 3 in a final set is a very, very difficult task. But Billie Jean really picked up her returns to break through there. And of course, Martina's one problem, I think, is being left-handed, that her natural point of attack comes to the King backhand. And of course, King laps that up. It's her favourite stroke, that backhand return of serve that she hit so marvellously in the last game. Martina stops thinking, it seems to me. She relaxed a little bit. She was too loved. She thought she was in good shape and played too many balls to the King backhand in that last game and paid for it.
Champion trying to get loose and supple there as she bounces about, ready to return the serve.
Love 15.
Yes, that was rather a risky shot, I think, at that stage. Oh, that's a marvelous winner.
$15 all.
terrifically risky shot, but with her back to the net, producing an outright winner. Real crackerjack shot.
First service. (30-15). One fault.
Just out, I think.
40-15.
Yes, just out. A foot fault there. And Billie Jean looks rather sternly across at the line judge, the foot fault judge. Very rarely does Billie Jean get accused of foot faulting, but perhaps in her anxiety to get to the net quickly, she just stood on the line with her left foot. Just have a look at this wonderful shot that Billie Jean played. It was the point that made it 15-all. It's a deep serve, good return, a volley getting spread eagle with the opponent, and it's a fine lob, but look at it. Back to the net, and it's an absolute winner. Back to play.
love.
2 games all, 15 love. Final set.
Love.
Well,
first service.
It was a very doubtful call.
Love. (40-15).
The third double fault. She really can't afford that luxury.
Game. Change the balls, please. Game to Miss Navratilova. Miss Navratilova leads by 3-2 in the final set.
And it seems that the champion is having phases of very severe serving, and then suddenly her service is just ordinary, without any vim or vigour.
Well, her whole game seems like that to me today, Dan. She isn't hitting the ball crisply in any department of the game. And it's particularly important with her service, because after her first service, she gets easily to the net. She moves very quickly. She's on top of the net, and she can put away the volleys. But when her serve goes off a bit, she seems to hesitate sometimes and occasionally stays back. And this gives Billie Jean the opportunity to take the net position herself. And this is the opportunity that Billie Jean is seeking all the time.
15 love.
Two, 3. Billie Jean serving with new balls.
30 love.
I see.
40 love.
That really must be a very, very tight net there, because that forehand had top spin on, and one would have thought it would have bounced over. But certainly Martina hit that one really crisply. 40 love. That's a beautiful backhand.
40-15.
It's one of the strokes that she's been working on this winter and this early spring.
Game to Mrs. King. Three games all, final set.
Well, we come to the 7th game.
Love 15.
And that bad length second serve got what it deserved.
Love 30.
Well, that's a beautiful pass.
Love 40.
What a situation. 3 break points for a 4-3 lead in the final set.
Fifteen 40. Thirty 40. Deuce.
Well, at last in this vital game, Martina really hits a fine service. Well played, well played.
Advantage, Miss Navratilova.
Fine play by both ladies. Wonderfully quick reflexes on each side of the net.
Game to Miss Navratilova. Miss Navratilova leads by 4-3 in the final set.
Well, that indeed was a vital game. Love 40 on the service, and yet she managed, Miss Navratilova, to pull it out 5 points in a row.
Yes, Dan, Martina really can't get her service going into the right court. She needs that wide one to the king forehand, and it just will not work for her. But having pulled up from love 40, she played this great point when she really needed it. There's the slow second serve, and Martina's frightened, nervous, so she stays back. Billie Jean's return was so deep. And then here's Martina's help by knowing Billie Jean's game. She saw the drop shot coming, and Billie thought that she'd hit a winner down that line. And there Martina realises just how big that point was.
Well, how important is that game going to become when the match is over? So it's 3-4, Billie Jean serving into the sun.
Love 15.
And Billie Jean meeting the champion at her best in that rally. Just.
15 all.
Yes, just out.
$30-15.
A couple of shots that the champion has missed by a bare inch.
All.
Well, that was a pass out of this world. She had to take it hurriedly and almost a half volley pass. Just out.
40-30. Game to Mrs. King. Four games all, final set.
And the champion there had a great chance. She got round the ball quickly, but it was rather a feeble bit of arm work and racket work when she came to make her pass. The ball was only halfway up the net. 4 all.
Love. Second service. Love.
Well, Martina got a high ball in the end, but Billie Jean really took it so early.
30-15. Second service.
Yeah.
40-15.
See once again how early Billie Jean was trying to take that. She was halfway between the baseline and the service line. She's trying to get the return in quickly, of course. It's out.
40-30.
Not a very confident volley, Anne.
No, Martina hates playing Billie Jean.
Game to Miss Navratilova. Miss Navratilova leads by 5-4 in the final set.
And although she won the game to 30, Miss Navratilova, she really had to work very hard to win it.
Dan, it all comes back to that wide service to the forehand in the right court. Martina cannot find that one. And with the second service, she's obliged to serve it down the middle into the king backhand to reduce the angles. And of course, Billie Jean loves that. And if the service is short, Billie Jean's up the court, threatening the net, and it's causing Martina to serve the odd double fault too. Billie Jean is such a great professional. She knows precisely what she has to do. It's just a question of whether she can produce the right shot at the right time.
Love 15.
So it's 5-4 to Miss Navratilova. Billie Jean serving to stay in this quarter-final.
all. $30-15. $40-15. Game to Mrs. King. Five games all, final set.
And a very clever volley from Mrs. King there as she made up her mind to play it to the somewhat uncertain backhand of Martina today. So 5-all in the final set, new balls.
Love 15.
The sun, of course, really ought not to be worrying Martina as she serves this end. It's behind her back.
Love 30.
Yes, on the line.
15-30. All.
It's all very anxious stuff this now. 5-all, 30-all final set.
Forty 30.
Put it out.
Deuce.
Out.
Advantage, Mrs. King.
Useful lob that in the sun. So it's break point for Mrs. King for a 6-5 lead. That's it.
Game to Mrs. King. Mrs. King leads by 6-5 in the final set.
Well, Anne, I don't know what you think, but I thought the champion was somewhat nervy there. Her service wasn't going right at all, and one or two of those volleys behind the service were awfully tentative, I thought.
Yes, well, she was left 30 down without getting her first service in at all. And she picked up to 40-30, and at that point, one felt Martina had the game. She had that comfortable for her anyway, backhand volley, and she put it very deep of the corner. She's not punching her volleys at all. She gets to the net and then she's very tentative. She can't seem to get her elbow out of the way of them at all. I thought too that Billie Jean was very tense in that game. She had those 2 points, love 30. She knew it was a big game. She knew how big the points were.
So 6-5 to Billie Jean. Can she hold the serve and win the match?
Love 15. Love 30. Love 40.
3 break points. Well, relieved Mrs. Navratilova in the stand there.
Miss Navratilova, sorry, 6 games all, final set.
Well, Billie Jean got 3 first serves in out of the 4 points played, and her volleying behind the serve was as weak as I've seen it for a long time. 6 all.
Love 15. All. Oh. 30-15.
She found her nerve there at the end to make that winning smash. Yes.
.30. Game to Miss Navratilova. Miss Navratilova leads by 7 games to 6. Final set.
And what a relieved Martina Navratilova after that game. It's all about the tension, isn't it? The standard of the tennis has gone down a bit, but here's Billie Jean. 40-15 this point was. Billie Jean steps in and drive volleys that in the middle of the court, and then a beautiful forehand passing shot. But Billie Jean had her chances when she was serving for the match, and her nerve didn't hold out. Martina in a lot of trouble then, and her nerve did hold out. What's going to happen now? 6-7.
It's well out.
Love 15.
Well, Billie Jean rather angry there, but what a magnificently placed lob right over the backhand side, the high backhand side of Mrs. King. One of the most awkward balls to play. Love 15. Oh, very nearly got it.
Love 30.
So 6-7, love 30, final set.
$15-30.
$15-30. Yes.
$15-40.
So that brilliant pass gives the holder of the title 2 match points. Right, they played.
30-40.
Still match point.
Deuce.
And even Billie Jean couldn't have expected such a feeble return of service on that second match point. That was a poor stroke by the title holder. Deuce.
Advantage, Miss Navratilova.
So for the third time, match point.
Deuce.
Service ball hit the chalk and it checked it and made it bounce a little awkwardly. Oh, I see.
That ball was good. Advantage, Miss Navratilova.
Well, it was called out, and now the umpire, Derek Cordy, has called that ball was good. And
But they have to play two,
of
because
course,
Billie Jean could have played it. Billie Jean could have played the ball.
Two balls. It's deuce. Land the rook.
Martina
Deuce.
making her feelings heard.
Play two, please. Play two, please.
Play two.
an extraordinary decision by the umpire that not to give the let. Deuce.
Advantage, Mrs. King. Change the balls, please. Change the balls.
Well, while I'm changing the balls, just have a look at that point again.
Change the balls, please. 7 games all.
And there
Final.
is the service, and there is the left-handed return. And we'll watch this. Now, where is it? It was called out by the linesman. The appeal came from Miss Navratilova to the umpire. He changed it and gave the point to her, which was quite wrong. Obviously, it had to be a let. And so the score now is 7-all, and Miss Navratilova serving.
Love. All.
So the second time the servers had to play a nasty half volley and didn't get away with it that time. 15-all.
40-15. $40-30.
So 40-15 to deuce and 7-all final set.
Advantage, Ms. Navratilova.
Rather good judgment there by the server. Ooh, knocked that down.
Deuce.
And that really was very poor judgment indeed, because that ball was well in. Okay.
Advantage, Ms. Navratilova.
Out.
Game, Ms. Navratilova. Ms. Navratilova leads by 8 games to 7, final set.
Well, this is a nut and a downer, isn't it?
Say that again. It's extraordinary to me, Dan, how at 15-all, 7-all, 15-all, Martina can miss the first service and then play football with the return that Billie Jean throws in and still concentrate on her second serve. But in fact, Martina laughed at the whole situation, and I rather felt that it took a bit of the tension away. She smiled, and then from then on, she got every first service in. And although she was dicing a bit with death, leaving these passing shots, 2 were right and 1 was not right. And the judgment just is almost there for Martina. She's almost got her game back, but not quite. But the tension is enormous.
So Billie Jean King serving 7-8 behind.
Love 15.
Oh, that's a rascal. That's a glass.
Love 30.
At last, the champion has really hit a championship return. A champion's return, rather. That's it.
Love 40.
So 3 more set points.
$15-40.
Two match points.
$30-40.
Oh, that's marvelous. It's not up, that one. Marvellous goal. So that's 6 match points she saved.
Advantage, Mrs. King. Games all, final set.
Well, that's a tremendous piece of match play by Billie Jean King. 8-all, final set.
Love. First service.
Outball.
30, love. First service.
Mm.
30-15. All.
8-all, 30-all, final set. There's a volley.
40-30.
Superb anticipation by Mrs. King and a beautifully exit backhand down the line. What a point to win.
Advantage, Ms. Navratilova.
Just out.
Game, Ms. Navratilova. Ms. Navratilova leads by 9 games to 8 in the final set.
Well, this really is one of the most exciting matches I've seen in years. And although the score is 9-8 to Miss Navratilova, it's anybody's match, I think. Well, Billie Jean, what a remarkable recovery. She's six break points. Remember, she was serving for the match in the 12th game. She was leading 6-5, having broken the service, and she was serving for the match, and she was love 40 down, and we thought there was going to be a recovery, but she didn't make the point and lost a love game, so it was 6-all. And it looks as though Mrs. King is having a little trouble with her glasses. The arm seems to have come off her glasses or something of the kind. She obviously has reserve glasses, Anne.
Yes, she's just getting them out. So she played that long match against Margaret Court in 1970 in the final, and she prolonged it, but didn't win it, and didn't really look as though she was going to win it. And this one has a similar look about it to me. Billie Jean's playing great stuff, but I'm not sure that she really believes she can win it now.
So Mrs. King serving 8-9, final set. It's in. It's a remarkable cross-court pass there from the champion. Under severe pressure and an absolute beauty.
Love 30. Mm-hmm. 15-30.
It's in.
15-40.
So 2 more match points for Miss Navratilova. Well played.
30-40.
Still match point.
Deuce.
Billie Jean King, the volley wasn't really very accurate, and Navratilova had a great chance for a pass there, but missed it. Deuce. Yes.
Advantage is Navratilova.
So for the 9th time, match point. And the mother in the gallery, very anxious up there. Yes, she's done it. Well, a relieved Mrs. Navratilova up there as the players come to the net after a magnificent match. A magnificent strike, that.
Match to Miss Navratilova, 7-6, 1-6, 10-8.
Well, that was an incredible match, and it lasted for an hour and 53 minutes. They've been out here almost an hour today on the resumption, and really it was blood-tingling stuff at the end, because both players, I think, Anne, had at times awful nerves.
Yes, they played superb tennis, I think, up until about 5-all in the last set, and then they both had attacks of nerves when they had chances to win. Billie Jean in particular with 6-5 and her own service, and she failed to win a point. But all credit to Martina. She pulled all the stops out when she really needed them, and although it took her 9 match points to win it, she'll be a very relieved person at this moment.
And believe it or not, that was Billie Jean King's 99th single that she's played at Wimbledon. And to have played that match in that spirit when she was down those 9 match points was something to remember. Well, there's the champion. And she plays Miss Abbott.
She plays Chris Lloyd.
Chris Lloyd. She plays Chris Lloyd in the semi-final.
Chris was playing ladies doubles, watching the scoreboard, I expect.
So a quarter-final to remember.